might love being a student more than an athlete.
I'd rather someone not like me because they don't mess with my personality instead of my skin color.
I'm very involved on campus.
Girl, spill, because I was just gonna get into what you be doing. You be doing a lot. So what advice do you give to people that like struggle with time management?
The only thing I can say is figure it out. I came into college thinking I was that girl, and I got humbled very quickly.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Echoes of the Yard. I'm your host, Kendyl Terrell, a soccer player at Jackson State University, and this podcast is all source HBCUs. From the guests to the topics, the good, the bad, we're here to talk about it all. For the third episode, I'm excited to be joined by Trinity Carruthers. Say it for him.
Trinity Carruthers.
Carruthers. I'm sorry, y'all. Like, I know how it is to get last names wrong, but Carruthers, a volleyball player at Morgan State University. And girl, you do a lot. So I cannot wait to get into your story. I'm excited. So let's just start with something easy. Tell me about yourself, like where you're from, your upbringing, how many siblings you have. Let's get down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah, so I am from Arlington, Texas. I was born in Arlington, raised in Grand Prairie. I grew up in a basketball household. My mom played, my dad played, my sister played. I have one sister. My parents met in college, playing basketball, kind of like a love of basketball kind of deal.
I love that, just without the toxicity.
Yeah, nothing too crazy. And
Okay.
Then my sister went to Langston. My dad went to University of New Mexico, and then they met at University of Colorado at Colorado Springs. And then I came in the world. So volleyball was my last sport. I played soccer. I swam. I danced. I cheered. What else did I do? And then basketball. My mom and dad told me to choose another route, so I chose volleyball because of the spandex, which is so crazy. And then I ended up falling in love with it, just because, I don't know, it was just something about wanting to be a part of something just bigger than myself. I went to Lake Ridge High School, and then got a couple accolades, and then went to college, and now I go to Morgan State. So
okay,
yeah.
Well, dive into your high school years. Like, were you always academically like, no, like this, and that, like staying on top, like P's and Q's? Like, tell me about that, because I come from a family of four. I'm the youngest of four. I have a twin, so it's just kind of like we grew up in the same household. My parents had the same story. Like, they met in college. My dad was actually my mom's coach. It's weird, but we get, and like as I was growing up, like they didn't offer like full rides in soccer. So like my dad was like, nope, find a new path. Like you can't do that. So like I continued that. And surprisingly, I also played volleyball. I'm 6'2". Like, so every time people see me, they're like, are you volleyball or basketball? You're a hooper? I'm like, no. So, but okay, back to your academics. Let me hear about it. So where were you at in high school?
I'm a perfectionist. I still struggle with perfectionism till this day, just because of the simple fact I have a lot of pride. I'm very prideful. In high school, I had a 3.6. It wasn't what it is now. Like right now, I have a 3.8, but I had a 3.6 in high school. I was very determined. My mom was like C's get degrees. My dad was like A's and B's. So I was more hard on myself than anything else. I feel as though if I had anything lower than a B, I would be mad at myself more than anything. And I wanted to make academic all district every year, so I made it my freshman year on top of just starting. So I knew if I had everything in line, my coach didn't have an excuse not to play me. So yeah, I'm a perfectionist. I love to be organized, time management. Like that was a big thing for me, especially when COVID hit. I kind of had to figure everything out as far as being online. I love online classes now. I feel like I do great online, but I do both at Morgan. So figuring it out, being a perfectionist, and having to also understand like the mental aspect of it. So like being a perfectionist took a mental toll on me. I'll go in deeper when we start talking about college, but as far as high school, I think battling COVID with perfectionism and everything else kind of took a toll, but I figured it out.
Yeah, and okay, so like to dabble into that, before we get into the mental health aspect of college, obviously, because we both can relate to that. What was your
Man.
mental out like going through the recruiting process, like your thought process about, okay, am I mentally prepared to this? Like, were you ready for that big next step? And were you expecting the things that you faced in college? Like, where was your head at before you stepped through that door?
Mentally, I felt as though I was ready. But when I stepped on that campus, I was not ready. I think nothing can prepare you for collegiate athletics mentally or physically. And when I got to college, it was very humbling. It humbled me to the absolute most. I also got hurt my freshman year. So I think understanding and learning how to be a good teammate on and off the court and staying on top of everything that came with being a collegiate athlete and a student was hard for sure.
So was that your first injury?
No, I actually I have weak ankles. I have really bad
Girl,
ankles.
me too. It's okay. Me too.
I have really bad ankles, so I sprain my ankles all the time. I tore my labrum my sophomore year of high school, and then didn't
Wow.
end up getting surgery until last January.
Wow.
And I feel better now, but I'm going into my senior year. If I didn't get the surgery last January, I probably wouldn't be playing right now, just because I couldn't lift my arm above my head. So
Oh, okay. Well, that's huge. But like, when did you realize you were good enough to play like volleyball in college? Like, when was the turning moment for you that you were like, wait, like, nah, like I could actually do this?
15th year, my sophomore year of high school. My sophomore year of
Mm.
high school, it's so crazy because I cut my hair off completely.
Okay.
I did a big chop, yeah, because heat damage was really killing me.
Hey, and
I
it's okay. We love a hair journey. We love a hair journey.
I cut my hair off. That was the best season I've ever had. And
Wow.
then I had a conversation with my dad, just about college and what I wanted to do and how I didn't want them to have to pay for college and what that would look like. And understanding that AAU athletics is an investment. Like I don't think I realized how much money was going towards like privates, clinics, traveling, everything, club tournaments, club coaches. I think just understanding that I knew at 15, 16s that I would be good enough. I just had to work a little bit harder just because I was behind. So like I started when I was 10, but I didn't start playing club until I was 11, which at my time, like
That's behind.
in fifth and sixth grade, that's behind.
Yeah.
So I think 15s and 16s would be the year that I would say that we played against, I think, Northern Lights in Colorado Crossroads, which was a turning point tournament for me because University of Tennessee, UCLA, University of Arizona were watching us play just because it was a really good team that we were playing. So just seeing that atmosphere and being in it and witnessing it was a big turning point for me.
Okay, so before we get into like what led you to Morgan State, can you dabble a little bit in your like clubbing journey, your travel journey? Because for me, I played travel soccer, and like just being realistic, I'm in a predominantly white sport. You're in a predominantly white sport, so it's just kind of like, how was that for you? Looking, I don't know about your experience, but every time I had stepped into that field and looked around, I was the only black girl, and it was like,
Yeah.
it's like I had to bring the culture to the team, or I was just another athlete. So like, how was that for you? If you can explain for me.
I dealt with it a lot more than I expected.
Mm.
I say that because the questions that you get were very hard for me to answer because I didn't understand the whole aspect of code switching. For me, it was more of like, oh, Trinity, your hair's curly today. And then the week later, I had braids. And they were like, oh, how do you switch your hair so much? Or just the politics of it. I think the politics was the hardest part of battling club volleyball. For
Mm.
me, I didn't make a team because they wanted a certain setter, or I didn't fit the description of somebody that already was in the position, but I was better than. But because I was black, I just didn't get that opportunity, and they just kind of pushed me to the side, and I was on like the third team. So I think that was the hardest part. My most challenging season was transitioning from a predominantly black team my junior year to a predominantly white team and being the only one my senior year.
Mm.
Nobody knows this, which is so crazy. I chose the number one because I was the only one. And I
Wow.
think understanding that I had to take on that and figure out what my role was in that short amount of time, because my 18th year was my final year and it was the most challenging, on top of me being hurt and trying to figure out a new team. I think I was more comfortable with the team that I was on, 17s, and I wanted to win something my senior year. So my senior year, we went to nationals. I don't remember where it was, but we went to nationals and we got third. But I was on the bench with a hoodie on and my jersey because that was my role, to be a good teammate and cheer my teammates on, because I was a third setter and the two setters in front of me were predominantly white. So the politics of club volleyball was definitely my biggest battle. And being a black setter is already hard.
Oh,
Um,
girl, yes.
and knowing that you can step on a court and leading in that way is even harder,
Yeah.
because some people look at you like, who is this girl?
And like, why did they give her the opportunity to lead the team? Because setters are the ones that they're the playmakers. They're the control of the good, the bad. Like, they're the second ball. Like, it's I guess so. Like, oh no, if we give her that, it's like giving her power. When in reality, like, that's just they wouldn't look at it if you were white. Like, let's
Yeah.
just be honest, because I've had an experience where I've been to colleges, and because I didn't have daddy's money and because I couldn't provide for the team, I wasn't playing no matter how good I was. So, like, I've
Right.
definitely been through that. So, what led you to Morgan State? Girl, I know my HBCU experience, so what led you there?
Um, at the time, COVID, I committed based off of a virtual tour, and I knew I didn't want to stay at home. So choosing a school that was 20 hours away was probably the best option for me, just because I've grown so much independently. And being away from home, I just didn't want to be close to my parents. I don't know. I feel like
That's
my
real.
my dad went far from home. My mom went far from home. I just didn't want to be at a school where it felt like high school part two. Like, I don't know. I just wanted to be uncomfortable and become comfortable in certain settings. So
So,
I
did
felt like Baltimore was the perfect place.
did that provide you with like a new identity without your parents? Like, did that show you like a new person for yourself? Like, did you reinvent yourself at your HBCU?
Oh, 100%.
Yes.
100%. Like, I feel like I wouldn't be the person I am today if I did not step on to Morgan State's campus at
Girl,
17.
yes.
Because I'm turning
Okay.
21 July 7th, and the person I am today is not the same person that I was 3 years ago at
Wow.
all.
So did you always want to go to the HBCU, or it was just like it just kind of fell into your lap?
What's so crazy is I did not want to go to HBCU at all.
Wow.
Morgan was not even a thought. I didn't even know Morgan existed
Wow.
until the coach reached out. One of the assistant coaches at the time reached out to me. Sandy Sankey. He's currently at Minnesota. He reached out to me and was blowing my phone up as I was on a visit at Arkansas Monticello.
Consistency.
Man. And so I was like, let's dibble and dabble into this and figure out what this is. And then I had conversations with the coach. I really like the coach. I still talk to her till this day,
I
even
love
though she's
that.
not my coach anymore. But yeah, I would have never chose Morgan State if I feel like Morgan State didn't choose me. And my senior year being so rough, club wise, for me to adapt and kind of fit in a way, was like, okay, I don't want to be around this anymore. Like,
Right.
diving into the whole being the only one and trying to figure out your role when you really don't have a role, but you want to fit in because you're on the team,
Yeah.
was a eye-opening experience. And
Yeah.
understanding that, like, I wanted to be around us again. Like,
Yes,
I wanted to
exactly.
play with girls that was like, oh, she looks like me, she's just as good as me, if not better.
Yeah. Yeah, and
So
she doesn't not like me because of the color of my skin. She just doesn't like me because we don't mesh. Like, I
right.
rather someone not like me because they don't mess with my personality instead of my skin color. Like, I've always found that, like, it just leaves me no words. So I
Yeah.
definitely experience, especially being biracial. My mom's white, my dad's black, so I was never white enough. I was never black enough, and like
Yeah.
in reality, when I get pulled over, no one sees that my mom's white. The cop sees I'm black, so it's just like just being in that, I guess, limbo area was hard for me. So like, how would you rate your overall experience as a student at Morgan State?
Hmm.
Okay.
I would say a 7, 6.
Yeah,
We're gonna say
I
6.
was like, okay.
Yeah, we're gonna say a 6.
And
A
why
6.
is that?
I love school. I really do love being a student. I might love being a student more than an athlete. Just because I know that school is going to take me so much further than athletics. And understanding that this is my first degree. Probably going to get 2 more. So I want to be a nurse.
Oh
So when I
wow.
graduate, I'll be going to nursing school, and then I might get my master's in nursing. So it's kind of up in the air, but my major right now is nutritional science, and I'm minoring in business just because I have so many backup plans just in case nursing doesn't work.
Just in case,
So
just in
like,
case.
yeah, just in case. I have I would love to, if nursing doesn't work, I would love to go into the operational side of athletics as far as basketball or football, or just player athlete development, and then understanding that whole aspect. I love academic advising. I kind of advise some of my teammates and other
Hey,
athletes now.
I was just about to say maybe you should dabble in the sports world on the academic side. Like that
Yeah,
would be nice.
but I feel like they don't get the credit they deserve.
Mm.
I feel as though academic advisors do not receive the credit that they deserve. And I don't know the salary that they receive, but I don't think it's enough for the work
There's
that
no
they
way.
do.
There's no way.
Because
Especially at HBCU. No.
the way Morgan, we have one, two, three. I want to say 5. I
Wow.
want to say 5.
I think
One
I think
strictly
we
for
have 4 or
football.
5
One strictly for football. Strictly
only.
football.
Only.
One, and then they all like divide sports.
Like
Um,
softball, soccer, and track are like one, and then like
yeah,
basketball, oh, it's crazy. It's
yeah.
actually, and I'm just like, I praise you. Like, I won't give you any hard time. Like, as long as you give me my schedule, I will get the grades. Like, just keep
Get
it
my PIN
pushing.
number. Make sure
Yeah,
I'm.
exactly, exactly. Okay, so
Yeah.
you gave academic wise a 6. Okay, give me your rating of Morgan State as an athlete. Like, tell me about the environment. Like, how it feels to step on the court with girls that look just like you. Like, obviously, there's still going to be drama. We're women. We have our sensitivities. We have our hormones. So, like, we obviously know it's realistic. But how is that different for you, knowing it's not because of like your skin?
It's so crazy. This past year, we did not have any drama. Thank.
Wow.
We did not have any drama, and I love my teammates for that because the years prior we've had drama, and it was just so draining.
So
Um,
draining.
Man, like I think now we're at an age where it's like, look, we have a 24-hour rule on our team where we have those conversations, and if you don't like the conversation, you have another one, and then y'all get to resolve it. But I, as an athlete, I would rate it a 4.5 or a 5. And
Okay.
I say that because one, I've had to deal with so much adversity. And I feel like I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't be where I am today without the adversity. So I'm
Mhm.
very appreciative of the opportunity of Morgan State. I'm very appreciative of the athletic department. But I feel like as an athletic department, as an athlete, I could do so much more. And as an athletic department, we could do so much better just because so many other institutions are doing so much more and so much better. And I know a lot goes into doing more and being better as a whole,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of work that can be done and there's a lot of success that could happen if we were just more intentional with some of the things that we did.
Yeah.
So yeah.
100%. I definitely agree because like just my own HBCU experience, like when before I finally got to my HBCU, I went to 2 colleges before, and like let me just say, like I rather I'd rather do Jackson State over again than go to the PWIs I went to before, because the way it mentally drained me, like I questioned my identity. I went through body dysmorphia, like because they wanted small, fast, skinny girls, and I'm 6'2", and I could probably lift 135. Like it was so hard for me, and like I was always outcasted as like the mean black girl or very aggressive, and like just having women coaches, it was just all over the place. But I can totally agree with you when you said like the opportunities that we have, we're not intentional about them, because it's like the things we could do, but we don't, like the amount of effort and money they pour into football. It's just like, we're here too. Like,
Man.
it's like, we're here. And I just
Woo!
think it's actually hilarious, because I'm like, okay, so you're going to get football, our only field, just so they can go through a walkthrough, but we can't have our own practice. Like, we won a SWAC championship for soccer. They talked about it a couple days, and then we were out of there. So it's just kind of like, I don't know. It's like they need to spread the love a little bit, and I think that's really hard for me as well. That's why, and don't get me wrong, I have one more year, and I could have entered the transfer portal, but to me, it's so much bigger. And like you said, you're very academically prone. I can't lie, I'm athletic prone through it all. Like my siblings before me, they were salutatory and bow, all that, but like it's always been sports to me. Like my whole thing was like, I need to get black girls that look like me more into predominantly white sports. Like I want to be that mental health advocate for them, and I want to tell their stories and share their stories, just so they know they have a community. Like not only me, but look, your story, and like just about it. I would go through it all over again, even though the water crisis, not having any water, showering outside, like I would go through all of it again, because I was accepted as me
Yeah.
in that sense. But okay, so do you think like playing at a HBCU has made your experience easier for college sports or harder for you?
I would say a little bit of both.
Okay.
Harder because of injury wise. Like I said, my freshman year I got hurt. I have plantar fasciitis still to this day. And then my shoulder surgery was a battle in itself. But I will also say easier because I figured out how to advocate for myself.
Okay. I
I
like
feel
that.
like if I wasn't able to advocate for myself, it would be harder. 100% would be harder. But learning how to have conversations that I don't want to have, that are uncomfortable, have made me even more comfortable. Like now, where I can
Yeah.
have those conversations and be like, I'm hurting, I'm burnt out. This is not okay. This is how I'm feeling. I want you to
Yeah.
understand where I'm coming from because I'm not going to be able to go in 2 weeks and play to my full potential if you feel like I'm finna run 30 million sprints in practice and then turn
Yes.
around and play a
The
game tomorrow
secondhand
and,
manipulation.
and have 7 a.m. weights. Like it's
Oh,
just now granted, will I do it? Yes, because I hate complaining. I hate people seeing me cry. I hate people seeing me in pain, but I be hurting and I be
girl,
crying in peace.
preach.
I be crying. Because sometimes you just need to let it out. Sometimes you just need to have that moment or journal or pray.
Yes.
My foundation is Jesus Christ. I believe in Jesus Christ 100%, and I feel as though
100%.
if I need to have a moment and go pray and cry and do what I have to do to get myself together in order for me to get through the day, I will do whatever I have to do. Because
Hmm.
if I'm not where I need to be mentally, I'm not going to be where I need to be physically. And if I'm not where I need to be physically, I'm definitely not there mentally. So
100%. Like my coach, I applaud him any day. Like I respect him as a person so much, because he lets us have like those mental health days. Like I remember I lost my dad when I was
I wish
about
this
15.
too.
So like when I get to those moments where I was like, dang, like what would my dad do? Like, and I can't have those conversations. I'm like, I just need a day. And he's just full on like, okay, get a day. Tomorrow, come back even stronger. Like, I'll be here when you're ready to talk. Like, he's just that person that's just like, hey, my door's always open. Or he'll blow your phone up and be like, why haven't you come visit me today? Like, let's get lunch. Like, he's definitely like, oh my gosh, one of the best coaches I've had, as just because he sees me as a person. But do you think like attending an HBCU gave you the support better between balance and athletics? Well, like the balance between athletics and academics?
Yes. I'm
Really?
very involved on campus. Very,
Girl,
very.
Bill, because I was just gonna get into what you be doing. You be doing a lot. FAAC,
Yeah.
president, member of 5 organizations, girl. Please. And then, didn't you just get a part-time job?
Yeah. Because
Oh,
I was bored. I was literally bored. Okay, I'm just going to go down the whole list. So I am currently the senior class secretary for SGA, which is Student Government Association. I'm the president of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. I am a member of the National Society of Leadership and Success. I'm a member of Nutritional Science Org. I'm missing one. Young Life MSU. I haven't gone to meetings, but I'm still a member because I'm still in the group me. And then and then I want to join FCA soon. We should be getting an FCA started soon, so I'll probably join that too. And then I did get a part-time job at Target. I love that job so much.
do you like it because of
I
the people?
No, it's just a simple fact of like you're rewarded with hours. They give you what you work for. Um and me personally, I don't do anything that I'm incapable of doing. So as far
Okay.
as like I feel like anything I put my mind to, I can do. So everything that I'm involved in is because I felt like I could do it.
So what advice do you give to people that like struggle with time management? Like what advice could you give?
The only thing I can say is figure it out. I figured it out, and I only say figure it out is because I took the time to sit down, have a planner, build a calendar, have conversations with my coach like, hey, this is what I want to do. This is what my day looks like. Is it draining? Yes. Is it rewarding? Even more. I can give you a whole rundown of the day. So in off season, because I got the job in off season, I was working at Bath and Body Works before, but I left and went to Target. I we had 7 a.m. waits. After that, we would get breakfast. Um, Then we had practice for 2 hours. After practice, I had classes. After class, I would leave. If I wouldn't meet with my academic advisor, because I talk to my academic advisors almost every day. Those are like, we,
Your rocks. Yes,
yeah,
I
like
know,
they
girl.
have
I
held me
know.
down. Tears,
Yes.
laughs, all of it.
We're
Um,
besties, like I'm telling you.
yeah. If I don't talk to my academic advisors,
I feel like
I'll
I didn't do my job.
man, like, hey, I just want to let you know I'm probably going to fail this test, and then I'm going to take the test, and then I come back and be like, I got a 90. So
Yes. Yes.
I don't know, but I'll leave the meeting, go get food, head to work from 6 to 10, 5 to 10, sometimes like 3:30 to 10, depending on the day, and then do it all over again.
So what did you find most challenging and what did you find most rewarding?
Most rewarding would definitely be the money. Um,
Okay.
would
Duh. Yes.
as a broke college student, I have struggled with being financially stable, and
Okay.
it has taken a toll on me just because I love food. I love Target, and I love being able to do things that are just like, like let's go do this, or like candle making, painting, picnics, just little things that like just
Yes.
are stress relievers,
So
baking,
you're good at
cooking.
time management, but that financial stability is a
Yeah.
little shaky.
Yeah, and it's so crazy because my dad's a financial advisor.
So you got I'm screaming.
My dad is a financial advisor, but it's still a work in progress.
Yeah, and that's okay. One thing at
Slowly but
a
surely.
time.
But yeah, I think time management for me, just knowing my routine and understanding my routine has been the biggest um thing. What was the initial question? Did
It
I
was the
answer
what
it?
was the most challenging and what was the most rewarding?
I answered the most rewarding, right?
Yes.
Okay, the most
Challenging.
challenging. What was the most challenging? Taking care of my body.
Mm.
Taking care
Girl,
of my
yeah.
body. Because I'm not saying I fell off with PT, but I stopped taking care of my body how I should have been. Um, and I think for me, because I was lifting so much and putting so much stress on my body, I wasn't taking the time to go to the training room and get treatment or get PT. I think being on my feet for that many hours and then lifting and doing all the like it just that was probably the most challenging. But I feel like the reward was more important than
Mhm.
sitting down and not doing anything.
So before I get to the last question, is there anything you want to share about your story or anything about your experience at Morgan State that you think people should know?
Morgan State is an experience that you have to make for yourself.
Mm.
I feel as though everybody's experience at Morgan is different. My experience is going to be different from my teammates' experience, and my teammates' experience is going to be different from their possible significant others' experience at Morgan. So, I think understanding that your experience is not going to be the same as everybody else's, and everybody has different values and standards for what they want their HBCU experience to be, is very important. And also, I love Morgan now. I could not have said that my freshman year. My freshman year was one of the hardest years mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all of the above. Because I was hurt. I was also in a toxic situationship that was mentally draining. And it's crazy because we're friends now, so I could talk about it. But I was in a toxic relationship, and I think I was the hardest on myself academically. That was the one of the semesters I got a 4.0, and then the other semester I got a 3.9, and I bawled my eyes out like I failed a class, and that was just a turning point for me. Like, you don't have to be so hard on yourself,
Yeah.
and understanding that you're gonna make mistakes and you're not always gonna have all A's, and
Yeah.
figuring out where my balance would be, for that aspect. So that would be the advice that I give, and giving yourself grace. I
I
think,
love that.
and coming to college humbly. I came in thinking that I was that girl. I came into college thinking I was that girl, and I got humbled very quickly.
Yeah.
Like coming
It's
to
funny you say that because I came into college. I was like, oh my god, I don't like anyone. Like, I was like, let me not like. I was like, because I had trust issues coming into college, like
yeah,
huge trust issues. Like I told you, like I lost me and my siblings. We lost our dad at like in high school, so it was like going into high school. I had trust issues. So like, I think mine was more like a no, like people like are actually kind. Like you can actually be friends with people. So mine was more like
yeah.
a get the heck away from me instead of like, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely a shocker, definitely.
But as far as and building relationships is so important. Building relationships outside of your sport, oh my goodness. The friends I have outside of volleyball, I cherish those friendships because sometimes I do
Love
not want
them.
to talk about volleyball. I do not want to be bothered by volleyball. I don't want to watch film. I don't even want to, hey, how are you? I'm not a volleyball player right now. Please don't ask me anything about
Girl,
volleyball.
I'm telling you, my friends outside of soccer are amazing. Like my psychology babies, like oh my gosh, like
Man.
they are literally a breath of fresh air for sure.
The one thing I will say, I'm a miracle baby. I
Yeah.
was supposed to be born September 1st. I was born July 7th, and I was
Whoa,
3 pounds.
early.
Right, I was 3 pounds and 2.4 ounces, and I was born dead. Yeah, you could say I was born dead. And the doctors had to revive me, and they were like, "She's not gonna make it." And so they were like, she'll never, be like, she'll never survive. This is what it is. I was jaundiced. I was in the hospital for 50 days. And then here I am today.
Girl,
So
yes, living
I
and
feel like
breathing.
if it wasn't for God's grace, I wouldn't be, like I said, I wouldn't be where I am today. And kind of going back and looking and taking certain times for granted, I regret just because of the simple fact of, like, I was born and I wasn't alive, so don't, like, time is not guaranteed and
Don't take it for
time is of
granted,
the
for
essence,
sure.
right?
I
So
love that.
yeah.
See that was your story right there. You ate. Yes. So our last question is presented by our sponsor, Cricket Wireless. So shout out to Cricket, a proud supporter of HBCU culture and community. How has going to an HBCU influenced the person you are today?
That's a deep question. I wouldn't be the person I am without my HBCU. I feel as though if I
Mm.
went to a different institution, I wouldn't be where I am now. mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, understanding and finding my why was the biggest thing for me, and understanding that you're gonna go through things that you're not gonna understand, but
Yeah.
coming out on the other side and understanding at the end of the day why you went through those things um, has been a big stepstone for me. And also, the person I am today is I'm a very peaceful person. I don't like to argue. I love my space, and I love my peace. And the person I was freshman year, I would love people around me. I yearned for just different people and different aspects, and wanted friends, and looked out for everything else. And
Needed
you
that
know,
validation.
yeah, like
Yeah.
now I still take care of other people, as far as not putting myself first all the time, but
Yeah.
understanding that you have a community, and you have people that appreciate you, and appreciate your time and
Mhm.
who you are as a person. um and kind of just getting a better understanding of that aspect of everything. So yeah,
I
I
love
love
that.
my
I love that. Say
years.
it with pride. Well, thanks so much for joining me, Trinity. I think,
Yes, thank you for having
without
me.
being biased, you have definitely been one of my favorites.
Thank you so much.
Listeners, thanks for tuning in. We got so many more guests to talk to and discover from HBCUs from all angles. So make sure you rate, review, and subscribe so you don't miss another episode of Echoes of the Art. Thank y'all.